Hey, welcome back to the Level Up Podcast. I'm your co-host, Brendan Payne, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about the listing agent mindset. And in most markets right now, there's an overall feeling that it's really difficult to get listings. And in reality, most of these markets have seen more transactions in the last 12 months than they have over any 12-month period in the past few years, really. That's a huge conflict, right? So in this podcast, Craig and I are going to unpack the shifts that you can make in your mindset if you're ready to level up your business and adopt a powerful mindset of a world-class listing agent. We hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
I'm just doing my, you said I'm good. I am plugging in my my charger.
Yeah, that's no problem. We'll wait. No problem.
I'm good.
No, good topic today. So we're gonna talk to today about something that has been on our minds because we're starting to you hear all the conversations all the time about there's no inventory and this market's so difficult and all the stuff that that people tend to let control their mind, and then that has effects down the road. So we're talking about the concept, I guess, of what kind of mindset right now does a listing agent need, or does an agent need to be in if they're going to be effective at taking listings?
Yeah, I love you and I have, of course, built a career around, helping people sell properties, being a listing agent. And, I think there's a muddled mindset around listings right now. And when I say muddled, meaning people are a little bit cloudy as to, and are just not clear on whether or not there's truly an opportunity to take a lot of listings anymore. I mean, if somebody looks at the expireds today, they're like, well, there's no expireds.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Or they look at FSBOs, they're all selling. They look at the inventory levels, there's no listings on the market. I got a lot of people that want to sell, but they don't have anywhere to go if they were to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like four different scenarios that or dialogues that are going on in a listing agent's mind right now. And I think the most important thing to recognize is, from a mindset standpoint, you got to look at the facts. Like that's the emotion. That's kind of emotional. Let's look at facts. The facts are this. If you look at the last 12 months, there has been more sales in the last 12 months than probably there has been in any 12-month period of time in the last 15 years.
No, for sure.
Okay. So for there to be the most sales in the last 12 months than there has been in the last 15 years, then for every sale, there is a buyer and there is a seller, which means there is a listing. Mm-hmm. So if we say that we had a record-breaking year for number of sales, then we have to be also saying there's a record-breaking year of number of listings that were taken. So while there's no expireds, while FSBOs are selling, while the sellers don't want to list because they don't want to know where to go, while all that's being said, being thought about, being talked about, there's still more listings now in the last 12 months have hit the market than any other 12-month period in the last 15 years. I think that's the mental shift that has to take place.
Yeah, no, I 100%. That's, and if you think about, go back to like when there were a ton of FSBOs that they were taking forever to sell. There were 12, 15 expireds coming off on any given day in some markets. All those reasons that you said in the beginning, those were all there too. There were people that didn't know where they were going to move. There were people that wanted this. All those scenarios were still there, but it was just, I think a lot of us, we had this false sense of, well, they're always there if I choose to go get them. Well, it's the same thing now. They're always there. They're not sitting in front of us. It's not like you look out and go, oh, I can walk out there. If I wanted to get up today and actually do my job, I could go out there and get some listings, because they're not out there. You actually have to go somewhere else for them. But it's all the same thing, because all you have to do is look and see, well, how many transactions were there? X amount of transaction. Everybody needs a buyer. Everybody needs a seller. That's that's the guide that tells you whether or not can you go get employed today.
Yeah. So the listing agent mindset is there are tons of listing opportunities out there.
Mhm.
Now, what a lot of people have had is they haven't had that mindset. So in your opinion, like if you don't have the mindset of there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of listings out there, there's more listings now than there's ever been. If you don't have that mindset, like whatever the opposite mindset is like, oh gosh, it's kind of like it's really, there's no listings, there's no inventory. What do you see the difference? Like, why does that matter? The two different mindsets.
Well, that's going to determine, why would you get up in the morning if you didn't think that there was a point to go, to go do something? I mean, if you literally had nothing to do, no options,
Yeah.
and no ability to do anything, why would you get out of bed?
Right. So what you're saying is like, okay, if I'm thinking there's no listing opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no reason for me to take action.
Yeah.
Be in action, right?
It would be a little bit more in your face, I think, in a market where you've got all these things, you've got a lot of expireds, you got a lot of withdrawals, you got a lot of for sale by owners, all those things. If they're right in your face, then you're like, oh man, I got to get up and go try to do something, or act like I'm doing something, or you know what, everybody sees there's a lot of things to do. This is an easy time to let this creep in and go,
Yeah.
well, you know what? I mean, what am I going to do? There's all these things that are happening that are going against me. They're really, I mean, what's the point? And so now you fall into that, and that's going to dictate what you get up and do every day.
Yeah. Yeah. So the negative mindset, it basically justifies not taking action. And if you don't take action, then obviously you're not going to get results. Versus if I'm alive, excited, I'm like, full of energy here, and I'm thinking, okay, let me go out there and attack the market. Let me go and build something for myself. Let me go find an opportunity. That mindset, that listing agent's mindset, is going to show up to the office a little bit earlier. They're going to do some sort of lead generation activities, and they're going to continue to do what they know they need to do until they seize that opportunity. I mean, that's it, and that's why I wanted to just start off today with the listing agent's mindset. We can go through, here's a few tactical things that we think you need to be doing to take advantage of, or to get more listings. But what I've learned in my experience is I can give you all the tactics, but if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to do them anyways.
Okay.
So tactics, I was just thinking before we, in the call, I was just thinking, okay, well, what are a few things that, we know the opportunities are there, but we also know that the activities may have shifted slightly, or how we approach the market may have shifted as to how we get listings now. But the fact that getting listings is it's there. It's how do you think it's changed though? Like in how you're getting listings, like for instance, there isn't really a lot of expired. So what can people do now?
Yeah. So
where are they?
Yeah, I'll bring it back for a second to a mindset, but then I want to actually give you the activity that I think will help instill this. So
Okay.
Another piece of that I wrote down is, regardless of what the market is, you have to adopt the belief that every owner wants to sell. So every owner of a property wants to sell. There's two things that we have to figure out. We have to figure out when they're going to do that. And a lot of when is determined by their motivation and sometimes the price of the property. So right there, if you adopt that, then you're going to go, you know what, then I need to talk to every owner, because they're eventually going to do something. So I need to find out when, and then what would be the motivation, and then remove the thought process of I'm getting up and generating because I've got to find something right this second today. Now, that's why we do this. I mean, we want to find an appointment every single day. So please don't misinterpret this. If you're listening to this, you're getting up to go find business today, but your activities have so much impact beyond there in your future business and your skill development that you have to wrap your mind around. Listen, I'm going to go and find somebody every single day, whether or not they choose to actually sell today or some point in the future. My job is to go be in these conversations, because eventually they're going to do something.
Yeah.
So I would go back to, like, I remember listening to myself saying, everyone wants to sell. Everyone wants to hire me. Everyone wants to talk with me about selling their property. And that was what on the way into the office, in the first couple of years, when it was like the skills probably weren't there, but the commitment was there. That was the stuff that I was feeding my mind to continue to go and do what I needed to do.
Mhm. Yeah, that's solid. I mean, back to the basics, right?
Yeah.
But again, there's another that's the mind. Everybody wants to sell. Everyone's an opportunity. And I think it really it even applies at a higher degree right now, because so many people across America are fascinated by the amount of appreciation and price gains
Yeah.
and equity that's been built up in the last couple of years. Like, if it's not true that everybody wants to sell, then at least this is true. Everybody wants to talk about
Right.
what it would look like if they were selling.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
There are no bad conversations right now with sellers. Like, there just aren't. There's the person that hangs up and says, why did you call me? Forget that. I mean, that's forever. That's always going to be there. But there are no bad conversations with sellers. And we've had a lot of bad conversations with sellers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there aren't
That's
right
so
now.
true.
Everybody's excited. They're like, well, tell me more. Even if I'm not doing something, tell me more, because I like seeing in my mind what's going on in my equity.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. One thing that I thought about is, like, we have to understand, like, just the thought of the mindset, or I mean, I know it is an objection that exists today, is, well, I don't know, I can't sell because I don't know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
That is an objection. That's not a condition, but that is an objection that is developed in the last year or so. So what that tells me, here's another mindset, is like, so that would mean there's a lot of buyers out there that need to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So there might not be a lot of expireds out there that need your help. There's a lot of buyers out there that need your help. So let's not forget that, because if these buyers are out there trying to figure out where they can go and identify that before they're thinking about selling, then you can generate a lot of listing leads in the buyers that you're talking to. But the key is the mindset. You have to accept that on a mental level before you start taking action on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing is about forced sale by owners. Yes, forced sale by owners can absolutely sell on their own today. No doubt about it. No problem. Forced sale by owners can all sell. And they can all save the commission. But the reality is a forced sale by owner is a forced sale by owner because they want to net the most money. And netting the most money and saving the commission are not necessarily the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could save the commission, but a good agent could probably negotiate a better price. And a great agent can not only negotiate them a better price, but they can also protect them from being nickel to dime to death during the home inspection, which saves them more thousands of dollars. So a good agent may be able to create more demand and boost the price up $5,000, $6,000, $10,000. And then what a lot of people neglect is, when it comes to negotiation on the home inspection, we might be able to save them another $5,000 or $10,000. And when you add those two things up, that savings, or that higher price plus the savings, exceeds the amount of the commission, which means if you hire me and I achieve these two things, you actually make more money net in your pocket by paying a commission. So we've got to get this into our heads, that the cheapest is usually not the least expensive. That's a mindset. Now, when I know cheapest is not the least expensive, and I know that forced sale owners are focused on their net, they just don't know how to talk about net. So they talk about commission because they don't know how to talk about anything else. When I understand that's the dynamic I'm dealing with, and I have a good conversation with the forced sale owner, then they're going to hire you.
Mm-hmm.
Forced sale owners will hire agents.
Yeah.
If they can see more net, period.
And
That's a
consider,
mindset.
yeah, and consider that for sale by owners right now, okay, they can sell and they sell quickly. What better time to go have a conversation with them after they've been on for the market for a week and haven't sold? You've got a great story then. I mean, gosh, we're putting stuff on, we're selling in a matter of hours, multiple offers. Don't you think that there's a challenge here that you need some help with? I mean, think back when there was tons of them. We're saying, well, gosh, I wondered when there was a lot of them. And then they'd go for 30, 60 days and you'd be telling them, don't you think something's wrong? Do you need my help yet? And they're going, well, no, nothing's selling. Our average days on market's 90 days. Well, that was to them, they're like, no big deal. Now you've got one that's out there for a week and you're going to be the solution for them if you had that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, back to mindset.
Yeah, back to mindset. Back to
Yeah.
mindset. Mindset. The mindset will influence the activities.
Yeah.
And so we got to get that listing agent mindset right. There's no doubt about that. The last thing I'll say before before we end is I just happened to be talking to a real estate attorney the other day, and she told me, she goes, man, I can tell the market is really, really moving. Because of the amount of lawsuits there are in the real estate industry. And she says majority of them, the increase in lawsuits amongst for sale by owners and buyers is it goes through the roof. And she said, and I never knew this, I just never really thought about it. She says in every hot market, ends up happening because there are more for sale by owners that are trying to do it on their own, and they're finding themselves in legal issues. And that's directly from a real estate attorney just a few days ago.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense. I just, we don't see that side because we see the for sale by owner. Oh, I got it sold. Okay, great. But how many of those end up in a lawsuit?
Right.
A year later.
Good point.
All right. Well, good.
Cool.
So there's the real estate, the listing agent's mindset. Hopefully that was helpful. One of the things that I want to, urge all of you that are listening, please check out Agent Success Academy. This is a coaching program that we have. It's a group coaching program. It's not that expensive. There's no contracts. Please check out Agent Success Academy. In the bottom in the description of this video and the podcast, you'll see a link. Go ahead and check that out. We're seeing a ton of growth. And then I know, Brendan, we also did with two other people, we did a video on handling objections. We called it a objection handling mastery course. And if you're kind of frustrated with some of the objections that you're getting, check out that course. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So Brendan, I appreciate it.
You got
it. And we will see everybody and talk to everybody next time.